A brand new Horizon game has been announced, and while it's not Horizon 3, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody, and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about Horizon Hunters Gathering. This is the brand new Horizon game that has been announced. It is coming from franchise creators over here, Guerrilla Games. This is a 3-player co-op action game. It is not Horizon 3. Horizon 3 is still a thing, it's still coming. Guerrilla is still making single-player games, but this is the next entry in the franchise. Now, I know many people have many thoughts about this. I'm getting to the conversation a bit late here. I've seen a lot of the discussion on the internet in the past couple days since Hunters Gathering was first announced. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of pessimism surrounding this, a lot of dooming on this game, just people wanting it to fail. I don't have that opinion at all. Up front, I'm going to say that right now. I do have some concerns that I'll talk about, but I am feeling pretty optimistic about Horizon Hunters Gathering. We've actually known about Horizon Hunters Gathering for a couple years now. A couple years ago, I don't remember exactly when it was, but a couple years ago, Guerrilla Games, they put out a post basically saying that they were hiring for a couple different positions, for a variety of different positions actually. And in that post, they kind of hinted at the future of the Horizon franchise. And in that post, they said that they are, that Aloy's adventures and journey is still going to continue, meaning we are going to be getting a Horizon 3, but that they were also working on a brand new entry in the franchise that was going to be a multiplayer game and would look very different than from what we were playing, from what we were usually getting from the series. So it wasn't going to be the really hyper realistic visuals that we have with the standard series, but it was going to be something more stylized. So we've known about this for a while. This is not a brand new thing that's been coming in the wake of Sony's games as a service push. We've known about it for a while. I myself have talked about this game for some time, in the wake of everything that's been going on with Sony's live service push. So it is finally, it's cool to actually see this game at long last, especially after very alpha footage, early development footage of the game leaked online as well a couple years ago. That looked nothing like what we're seeing here visually. It is great to finally have a good look at this actual game, what this is going to be, so on and so forth. So, Horizon Hunters Gathering. Like I said, this is a 3-player co-op action game. There is a story mode in it as well, and the story can be played solo by yourself if you wanted to, with NPCs filling in the roles of the other 2 characters that would be filled if you were playing with other actual people. The game is going to be coming to PlayStation 5 and PC on day and date at the same time. There is no release window as of yet though, so we don't know if it's coming out later this year, if it's a next year game, nothing of the sort, just based off of the way that the devs were talking about it in the announcement video, the 10-minute announcement video, which I highly recommend you go watch. Gives us a very good look at the gameplay, and some of the developer insights in terms of their mind, their headspace behind what they want this game to be and what it'll be like playing it and all. But just hearing what they were how they were talking about it all, they're saying that they wanted to give us a look at it, at this early stage of the game's development. And I mean, it's looking very polished, pretty far along right now. I don't believe it will be coming out later this year. I feel like it's going to be more of a 2027 title. We will wait and see though. Also going along with that, like I said, there is a story mode, and the game's story is set after Horizon Forbidden West, and this game, Hunters Gathering, is going to be canon to the series and the story that's been going on so far. So what we can gather from the cinematic trailer here in terms of what the story is that Aloy, after Horizon Forbidden West, she has tasked her friend Aaron with gathering, more hunters. That way they can fight back the machines, because the machines are getting stronger, and we gotta stop the machines. So that's the general basic premise behind Hunters Gathering's story. How the story will develop, we gotta play the game and find out. But the team is saying that they're clearly putting a lot of like time and effort and heart and energy into the story. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops the main story, the narrative in the Horizon universe. I don't know necessarily if it's going to be like a giant, super crucial bridge between Forbidden West and whatever the next game is, or if it's going to be more of like its own self-contained story that is just like adding to more of the greater world lore of the Horizon series, because there are going to be new characters that are introduced here and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a mention of maybe certain characters or like certain events that happened in Hunter's Gathering in the next Horizon game, the next numbered mainline story game, Horizon 3. Probably be mentions of it in some way, shape, or form, but in such a way where it's like, if you didn't play it, you're not missing anything, but if you did play it, you know what like is being referenced, and something like in that type of manner. So that's what I'm expecting here when it comes to the narrative and how it adds to the greater Horizon canon. Nevertheless though, I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to that. In terms of what the game is going to be like though, like I said, this is a 3-player co-op action game. There are going to be 6 hero type characters at launch, because the way they, this game, you have your different hero archetype characters. You have more like this more burly type of woman character, someone that seems more like they're a bit more agile, different agile type characters actually. Really, everything about this in terms of what we saw here seems like it's going very hyper stylized, hyper energetic, in a good way though, not in a bad way, and I'm here for it. So we got these 6 hero characters at launch, and all the characters can be built towards certain roles such as support or damage or tank, depending on the different types of perks and things that you upgrade your character with and all like that. But crucially, what how the Guerrilla described the game is that they described it as being tactical and challenging, which is very important and something that you would expect from the Horizon series. The games that we've had so far, I've only played Horizon 1 and Forbidden West, but Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, they are not super difficult games, at least on normal difficulty, but they are not pushovers either. Like they are pretty challenging games. Like, even no matter how far into the game you are, early game enemies can still take you out pretty easily if you are not prepared and skilled enough and clever enough to to take them down and avoid whatever they're dishing out at you. Like, you got to be on your toes with the Horizon series, and I enjoy that about the series. Actually, I enjoy having to be smart and like really be careful in how I take down these enemies. Of course, that's not necessarily something that I expect we're going to be seeing here with Hunter's Gathering in quite the same way, because for in the mainline series, you have your open world, and there is really like, all right, you're going from one place to another place, but maybe you want to stop and do a bit of like hunting robots and stuff and everything. Whereas here, it's like, no, you have your set missions where you are taking down enemies, so there's gonna be less of the freeform hunting and more of just a straight up, all right, fight these robots at all. So some of that element of like really like tactical planning in the lead up to a fight might not be there in quite the same way, but in the actual act of the fighting and how you prep before you go on your missions, that is going to be important. And going on these hunts with your allies, be that real people or NPCs, specifically though with real people, it'll be fun to see like what it's like, how you all have to work together and combine your builds, have your builds mesh with each other and synergize with each other to take down enemies. Like I believe there's like the bellowbacks, which are those are the robots that have like the giant sacks like in their underbellies and like attached to their hind area. Like, those things can be pretty easy to take down, but they can also be pretty challenging if you're like in the wrong environment. So it'll be cool to see how that goes down when you're with a party of people. The same with the Razorbacks. I believe those are the dinosaur ones, the T-Rex ones. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Don't be on me too hard if I'm wrong about that. But the Thunderjaws, sorry, Thunderjaws. The Thunderjaws are the T-Rexes. Fighting those, I mean, those are like kind of like the apex enemies in the Horizon franchise. it'll be so cool going against them and really synergizing your strategy and your abilities with your allies as you go against them. So that is really cool. I'm looking forward to that, and that is something that we've always wanted with the Horizon franchise, or at least, let me not say we, but many people in the Horizon fan base have longed for a multiplayer experience in the series. And this is not that in quite the same way, but it is a multiplayer experience in some way, shape, or form that will allow us to kind of live out that fantasy. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that, even if it is in a more directed manner and not quite the open world, just like MMO style, Monster Hunter style that many people, including myself, might have imagined a multiplayer take on Horizon being like. But getting back to the gameplay itself, I am again excited by the idea of it still being challenging, still being requiring you to be tactical and really plan things out. That is very, very cool. They did talk about how there are going to be different mission types in the game as well, a variety of mission types, but two that they talked about that we'll be getting to be able to play at an upcoming closed playtest, which you have to sign up for. What they are called Machine Incursion and Cauldron Descent. So Machine Incursion basically has you taking down groups of enemies on a specific map, of which I believe there are like 4 or 5 that they mentioned will be there at launch. You have to basically take down groups of enemies on this map. While you're doing that, there's a storm that is like slowly shrinking the playable space that you are fighting in, and also like being able to go around and collect gear and items and stuff in, all while you work your way towards the final boss that you have to take down at the end. So definitely an element of like battle royale design there. That'll be an interesting one to see like how that plays out in practice, because even on paper it seems like interesting, a tad derivative, but I do wonder, like derivative big picture perspective, but I do wonder how it'll feel, you know, in the moment, in execution, in my actual hands when I'm playing it, you know, going through this gameplay loop with this environment and these systems. I'm excited by that idea. I'm looking forward to seeing how that actually plays out in execution in a match of, an actual gameplay session of Machine Incursion start to finish. Cauldron Descent is essentially a dungeon crawl, a bit of, I think of like a randomized dungeon crawl, where it's, it's longer than a Machine Incursion. It is more challenging than a Machine Incursion. So each room that you clear gets harder and harder. You get new gear and everything. There are different rooms that you could unlock in the Cauldron Descent. Some might have gear behind them. Others are just going to be more enemies. You could think of it basically, at least this is how I thought of it. I think of it as like a dungeon, or maybe something akin to a raid in a sense, in terms of what experience you could get from this in terms of difficulty and challenge and all. So that idea is also pretty cool. I'm into it. There are also going to be roguelite elements for your character progression as you play through each mode. So like I said before, you could open a chest, maybe you find some gear, and it's like, oh, there's this gear, or this gear, or like this ability or that ability and stuff, and that'll change as you go through, as you play each mode over and over again. So I'm, interesting things, interesting ways to spice things up, kind of make this its own unique thing in a way. Again, I'm into it. We do have to see how it all plays out in our actual hands. Between the missions, though, you'll be able to spend your time in this area called the Hunter's Gathering, where the game gets its title from. And this is basically a hub where you're able to, spend time with your allies, chill out with your friends, purchase gear, upgrade gear. And then there's a campsite that you have there, your own little campsite that you could customize as well. Just again, hang out with your friends there. It definitely seems like Destiny-esque in terms of like, hey, here's the tower, here's this social hub, here's this social space, so cool. Again, doesn't seem like itself like too exciting, but that's more a thing of like actually having to be in it and feel it out and play it and see how alive and useful and everything it is. So there is all that. That's a pretty easy overview of what we can expect from Hunter's Gathering here. One of the more controversial elements of Hunter's Gathering, though, aside from the multiplayer side of things, has been that the art style of Horizon Hunter's Gathering. Like I said before, it is very different from what we are used to from the Horizon series. Typically, again, we are used to the super high fidelity, just absolutely stunning visuals. The Horizon games, both Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, are some of the best looking games of their respective generations. And I feel like that's still going to be the case here with Hunter's Gathering, just in a very different way. Because with Hunter's Gathering, we have this very animated art style. It's very animated, it's very stylized, it's very vibrant and energetic and bright and colorful. There's some cartooniness to it. I really love the look of Hunter's Gathering here. When the trailer first started, at first I thought, oh, we're just seeing like concept art and stuff. But as it kept on going, I was like, oh no, this is like the actual game. This is not concept art. This is not just it's not just like cinematic visuals and stuff, cinematics, like CG stuff. This is what the actual game is going to look like. And I'm very much here for it. And like in my eyes, I feel like it looks like concept art brought to life. Like it's animated almost like concept art, or looks like animated concept art. And I mean that in a very good way, because it looks so gorgeous. It's just full of life and personality. It's almost painterly at times when you look at it, and just like the way things are curved, the way you can kind of see brushstrokes on certain textures. It looks fantastic, in my opinion. I love the look of this game. And then that also trickles down to the characters and their animations. And their animations, again, since this is more of a stylized game, we see them doing like quick zips in the air and stuff, and dashing around the place, and it's just so lively. And I cannot get enough of how this game just visually looks to me. And although I am very high on it, many people online are not. And I'm not saying that you have to be. It's okay to not vibe with the look of a game. But I think my issue, what I've seen from from many commenters online at least, is that many people are saying, oh, it looks like Fortnite. Why do they make this look like Fortnite? It's just like a Fortnite ripoff type of thing in terms of the visual aesthetic. And it's like, I feel like that is such a lazy and silly pejorative to use here. I mean, it's not just with this game. We see people do this with many games online that has more of an animated or cartoony aesthetic to it. If it's not just a hyper realistic visual aesthetic, if it's something that leans more animated at all, people just automatically say, oh, it just looks like Fortnite. Oh, it looks like Fortnite. Oh, they're trying to look like Fortnite. And like in some cases, yeah, it very clearly is kind of leaning in that direction. But I would not say that with this. This has personality. This has its own unique identity behind it. This leans more towards like what you would see in a feature film, like we would see in some of Sony Pictures animations in some of their most recent films, like the Spider-Verse movies, or even what's it called? Like the Mitchells versus the Machines, or the Ninja Turtles one. I don't believe that's Sony, that's Paramount. But even still, like even those, they have a whole lot of personality behind their look. And this leans more in that direction in terms of just the unique visual aesthetic it's trying to go for with itself. It's not leaning in the Fortnite direction. Fortnite is a good game, and yes, its prominence, its success has driven many people and many games to try and lean their visual identity in a way where like it is its own thing, but it's still clearly leading towards like trying to appeal to like that Fortnite demographic. That's not what's going on here. Fortnite's visual aesthetic, it has its own identity in a sense, but I feel like that identity, in my eyes personally, is more of just like a, hey, we took this thing and just made it slightly gamified. We made it slightly cartoony to fit our animated aesthetic, but it's not like this thing does not look so radically different from what you know it to normally look like. Like, Iron Man and like, you know, any Marvel characters that are in Fortnite do not look so radically different from what I would expect them to look like as they do in, say, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Like, very different in terms of like just visual identities and stuff and aesthetics, if you get what I'm going for here. So to say that Horizon Hunters Gathering, its visual aesthetic is just like, oh, it looks like Fortnite, it's just such a lazy way to say that, you know, it's an animated, you know, it's just I guess lazy way, in my opinion, to say that you don't like the visuals because they are animated and animated visuals remind you of Fortnite. That's just kind of like how I view it, on top of it being a live service game. Or a multiplayer online game with some live service elements. We got to see how that all pans out. So I don't know. I don't vibe entirely with that argument, or this many people saying, oh, I don't like the visuals. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. If you're going to criticize the visual aesthetic of the game and say you don't like the art style, again, that's totally fine. But if you're going to say that, I need more of an actual solid argument and critique behind it, other than it looks like Fortnite, because that's just, it doesn't vibe with me. It doesn't necessarily hold like a strong case against the game, in my opinion. Neither here nor there, though. Moving past that, the bigger question that I have here regarding Horizon Hunters Gathering, with, you know, these are my concerns with it, is how well this game is going to do. Because ever since it was not ever since it was first announced, but in the years since it has been first announced, many things have happened in the live service space, specifically as it pertains to PlayStation and their live service plans. You know, it all kicked off really with Helldivers 2. That was a success. But then I think either just before that or a bit after that, Naughty Dog's live service game for The Last of Us got canceled. Concord came out and failed utterly, just so badly within 2 weeks. RIP Concord. I still love that game and I wish it was still around. And after that, you know, Fair Games is basically like MIA. I would assume it's canceled at this point. I don't believe it has officially been canceled, but it might as well be, unless it appears at some point in time in the near future. And then let's see, PlayStation's London studio, which was working on a live service game, they closed down. There were, what was it? Blue Point was working on a live service God of War game, and that got canceled. Ben Studio was working on a live service game, and that got canceled. So many things have changed in PlayStation's plans for their live service projects. And I've long said, ever since the Concord stuff happened, that Marathon would still come out almost certainly, because it's Bungie, it's Marathon. It would succeed on some basis alone. And although it's been a rocky road to where we are now, Marathon is picking up steam some more. But then I said that between the other three that we knew of, that being Gummy Bears is a MOBA Smash-esque type game that Bungie was working on that would probably still come out. But between that one, Fair Games, and Horizon, there was like, these could go either way in terms of like releasing and actually succeeding. And Horizon, I've long felt, the Horizon one, at least this one specifically, Hunters Gathering, that we now know it is, I've long felt that this is the one where it's a double-edged sword. It could succeed and thrive because it is a Horizon game, and the Horizon franchise is one of Sony's most successful, most profitable franchises of all time, essentially. The Horizon franchise has sold 40 million copies, as far as I'm aware. So that's a lot of copies of one series between the original game, the second one, the VR stuff. 40 million copies. Horizon is very popular, despite what many people online, or maybe specifically Twitter, would like to have you believe. It is very popular. It is a beloved series. So on that basis alone, a Horizon live service game could succeed and thrive, and it would make sense to release one and see that live service game to completion and not cancel it before it releases. On the other hand, That could also be the double-edged sword, because people love this series so much. They love what we already know Horizon for, the single player, story, the monster hunting, not the monster hunting, but the Monster Hunter-esque actually type gameplay that we kind of sort of have there and all. People love the series for that. And doing a live service game that many people are turning their opinions around on the live service games in general. To make a live service game in the series could be to its downfall, because people could say, no, this is not the type of Horizon we want. We want the other type. It's a double-edged sword. Does Sony want to run the risk of playing this game of fire with one of their most popular franchises? I don't know. Clearly, they're seeing this game out to release, so they're willing to play that game. But is it going to succeed? Is it going to do well? I honestly do not know. I feel like this could go either way. I do not believe that we will see a Concord situation on our hands, despite how much people want another Concord situation from this game, or really any live service game that gets announced nowadays. I mean, we saw it happening with Highguard over the past month, really, after that game was announced at the Game Awards. People were begging for that to be the next Concord. After it first came out, day one, people were expecting that to be the next Concord, begging for it to happen. So they're begging for that for any game. So I don't think it's going to happen here, because this is Horizon. It's not going to fail like that, if it fails at all. I do think it has a good chance at success based off its name alone. The gameplay and everything, of course, is what will really propel this game and allow it to have legs and go for a long time. How long will it last for? I don't know. It kind of depends on what Guerrilla wants to do here. Do they see this as the type of game where they continue to pump out story stuff for it for 2, 3, 4 years? I don't know. Do they see it as a thing where maybe they pump out story updates for 2 years and they say, all right, we have a definitive 2-year story timeline on this game, and after that we are kind of done with it, and then we just do, like, I guess, gameplay updates of sorts and really fully move on to Horizon 3? I'm not quite sure. It really depends on what they want to do here. That goes into also on Blue Sky, Jason Schreier, reporter over at Bloomberg, highly respected, highly informed video games journalist. If you were not aware, you should be aware. He confirmed over on Blue Sky that Horizon 3 is still going to be quite a ways away, which we all could have expected, and that apparently, according to him and his sources, most of the team at Guerrilla is actually working on this, not Horizon 3, the next mainline game in the series. So that being the case, Horizon 3 is definitely going to be quite a bit away. I imagine we probably would not be seeing it until 2026 now, maybe 2029 at the earliest. It could be a PlayStation 6 launch game, who knows. So with all that said, I want Hunter's Gathering to succeed. I always want new games to succeed, because that is the best for the industry. It's how we get new ideas, it encourages other developers to make new ideas, or ideas like the one that just succeeded and stuff. It gives us more games to play, more variety, so on and so forth. We should always want new ideas to succeed and never ask for them to fail and just settle for the same old things that we are already playing over and over again, just repackaged in different ways, shapes, or forms. We should always want teams to also experiment with new ideas as well, even if those new ideas are from their same franchises. As much as I myself in the past have asked for PlayStation, or have kind of desired PlayStation and their first party teams to do new things and bring us new IPs and not just settle for their same old franchises. At the end of the day, I do want the team to do what they are creatively driven to do, not just do what they are told to do. Because if a team is doing what they are creatively driven to do, then we are at least getting something that, has passion and real, genuine interest behind it, as opposed to, well, we're just doing this because this is the directive now. Multiplayer has always been something that Guerrilla has wanted to do with the Horizon series ever since the first game. So this is not a just out of left field idea. This is obviously not just something that is like, oh, we're doing this because we had to do live service games and all. No, Guerrilla has long wanted to do a multiplayer component for Horizon, so it's doing it in this way and bucking the trend, bucking expectations, subverting expectations, not doing the obvious Monster Hunter-esque type of play with it. It's interesting. Maybe this could possibly end up being the better idea than just Horizon, the MMO, more or less. So we gotta wait to see how this all pans out. I am going to be reserving final judgments until I actually play the game myself. Hopefully, I'll be able to get into one of the closed playtests, or I'm sure at some point they will do a public beta in some way, shape, or form. But either way, I myself am feeling optimistic about Horizon Hunter's Gathering. It seems like it's going to be a pretty good game. It seems like it should be pretty fun. I am really, really, really loving the visual aesthetic of the game. Of course, again, like I was just talking about for the past couple minutes, I do have my concerns about its longevity. Will it thrive in the modern game environment when it comes to live service games? It could, it might not, who knows? And also, one final thing is, like I said, it's coming to PlayStation and PS5 day and date, but I do wonder if at some point this game will come to Xbox. Now, there's long been rumored, it's kind of all but confirmed that the next Xbox is basically going to be a PC with different PC stores and launchers on it. So if this is on PC, on Steam, or Epic Game Store, or wherever, by default, if those stores are on the next Xbox, you'll be able to play them on Xbox. But will there be just a straight up like native Xbox version of this game whenever it releases? I don't know. I feel like it's something that will possibly happen in the future. Again, when it comes to live service games, Sony understands they have to be on as many platforms as possible. Horizon is a first-party franchise, though a tentpole first-party franchise for PlayStation, and Sony has yet to put one of those types of first-party games on Xbox as of yet. So maybe this is one that they do it with, a multiplayer Horizon game, possibly. Will it succeed over there? Who knows? But if it is to happen, it most certainly would not be day and date when it comes out on PS5 and PC. It would definitely be at some point, sometime after that. Who knows when? It depends on whenever this game releases. All that said, though, that's all I have to talk about today regarding Horizon Hunter's Gathering. I'm looking forward to it. I'm eager to see more about this game, learn more about it, get my hands on it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot. We'll talk next time. Have a good one.